Hey, this is Nathan Clark with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and today I have Hank Richter with me from Home Pro Inspections. Hank, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me.
I appreciate your time.
I enjoy doing these.
So today I wanted to talk about doing pre-home inspections, and I know you've been doing home inspections for a while, so tell us a little bit about you and your company.
So I started in 1999. I actually came from a commercial property background. I used to work for the largest commercial real estate company in Rhode Island. You might know it, Ryan Elliott. Bought out by CB Richard Ellis. Once that happened, I went off and started doing home inspections instead of commercial property management. Been doing this since 1999. First year we did 7 inspections. Now we do about 1,000 a year.
And you have a team of people that work with.
I have a team of people. We have 4 other inspectors plus myself and an assistant, and then we have an office person who runs everything, does all of our social media.
Yep, you have quite the business there. How many home inspections have you?
Personally, I've completed about 12,000.
Holy smokes.
The company right now, we're probably getting closer to 20.
And how many points do you look at when you go through a house on average? Like, is it a 600-point inspection, 200-point inspection?
We like to tell our guys that from coming in the front door and going out the back door that they probably look at about 1,300 different items and not even think about it, because it just becomes the things that stand out are the things that are probably not normal.
I think most people always ask, and you probably get asked this a lot, what's the most common thing that you find at a home inspection?
It kind of depends on the house. First off, we're mostly dealing with older properties, so we're dealing with things that haven't been maintained over the time. But, you know, things like missing down pipes, pressure relief pipes at water heaters and boilers, that's a pretty common one. Double taps in the electric panel, double neutrals. Tends to be things that a homeowner has done over the years.
And, you know, I remember when I was in the field at home inspections, I would see a lot of times I would talk to a seller and I would hear the famous, oh, there's nothing wrong with my house. So I would always get worried when I'd hear that, because it usually would be like red flags all over the house. So talk to somebody out there that thinks maybe they have the perfect house, or maybe you've heard that before.
Oh, we have heard that, and there's really no such thing as a perfect house. Even a brand new house isn't perfect. We find things on there on a brand new house all the time. You know, you have a house built, everybody says it's such and such a contractor built this house, it's an awesome thing, but generally, the contractors who build the houses, the GCs, aren't the ones who are doing the work. So they're only as good as their subs. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, you know, a house that's been lived in. You know, houses age just like we age. You know, we think that we have the perfect body, and we don't. Things are broken in there that we don't necessarily know about.
Sure. Or
not functioning properly. So there's just a lot of things that we see, key indicators that will tell us, you know, if we see one thing, that we should be looking beyond that to see something else. So
why would you think doing a home inspection up front is an advantage for the home seller?
Because you have a very small window of opportunity when you're selling your home, or even when they're buying a home. And with a normal buyer, there's that 10-day window, and it's difficult to get anything done in that 10-day window. You got to do the home inspection, then you get the report, and then you have to get the vendors out to do your quotes, get your quotes in, possibly have some of that work done. And it's a very compressed time period. If you're doing a pre-listing inspection, or a seller's doing that pre-listing inspection, it relieves a lot of the stress, because the seller can take that report, have some time to actually look at what the items are, negotiate those items, find a vendor to correct the items, or they can decide to use that report as a negotiating tool. You know, we've done this home inspection, we found these items, we are not touching anything, we've priced the house accordingly. Or we have this home inspection, we've corrected the following items, and we've priced the house accordingly. Or here's a credit, you know, we decided what these things are going to be, and this is going to be applied towards your purchase price. Plus, they don't have that stress of trying to find a vendor within that 10-day period. So they can choose, and they can also negotiate price on some of those repairs, where you can't do that a lot of times in that smaller window.
And a lot of times, Hank, I've seen on my side of the table too, we see about 1 out of 5, about 20% of transactions fall apart because of home inspection. And sometimes it's little items that could have been corrected in the beginning from a double tap and a breaker.
First off, it's never the home inspection that killed the deal. It's the house that killed the deal. We're just information gatherers.
Yeah.
But I know our information has great impact.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes the buyer can, listen, it's a big purchase, and little things can set off your imagination that, oh my God, I have a double tap in the breaker, where it would have been a lot easier for a couple $100. Right. Or whatever, $300-400, have somebody come by and correct that for you, versus have that come up and just give more buyer's remorse, as I could say, to a buyer out there.
The other part of that too is when we get talking about sellers, you know, sellers will go and do work on their own. And they don't always do work the correct way.
Really?
And a lot of times, if you find that in a home inspection, that can become a really big sticking point. And we always like to say, you know, just because they sell it at Home Depot or Lowe's doesn't mean it's a good home improvement. You know, there's ways to do things that are done the correct way. There's ways to do things that are not done the correct way. And those are the things that we want to try to avoid because those are the trigger points when a buyer comes in. And a lot of times for us, we find it's not the big items that kill the deal. It's the cumulative small items.
Right, they add up. It's a little death from 1,000 cuts.
That's it.
And to be able to avoid these things up front, I like how you pointed out, and I wasn't even thinking this, but we were talking about it off camera here, was you have the time, too, to go find your own contractor. Talk a little more about that.
Contractors are tough to find right now. Contractors, when they start to make money, seem to do different things. They're hard to get in touch with. They don't return phone calls. And the other thing, too, is most contractors, if a contractor's any good, they're not going to be able to accommodate you within 10 days.
Right.
It just isn't going to happen.
And usually you have to probably pay them a handsome fee to get them to do it that quickly. So more or less what happens is if you wait to do the inspection after you find a buyer, you're going to have to pay through the nose for repairs or either pay the buyer through the nose to take the house as is for them to do the repairs themselves after the closing.
Correct.
So you're spending a lot more money doing those things and risking the buyer just walking away and asking for their deposit back from the inspection.
The other part with the vendors right now is we're still having some supply chain issues. You know, if you want to get something corrected, it's not going to get corrected in 10 days because you may not be able to get the materials.
Right. That's
That's cleaned up quite a bit from what it was horrible, you know, not that long ago. It's much better now, but it's still an issue.
Yeah. Well, there's great advantages to doing the inspection up front, and I appreciate you sitting down with us, Hank, to be able to go over these advantages with us. If people have questions, any way to contact you, what's the best way?
Our phone number is 401-821-5446. We also have a website, which is homeprori.com. We have a Facebook page, HomeProRI. Puts lots of good information up on all of those.
You sure do.
So.
I'm Nathan Clark with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Thank you very much, Hank, for being with us, and I hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.